ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ybot, and welcome to the Hellfire Citadel, and the worst fight in the entire raid. I haven't seen the entire raid yet, but I'm betting this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hellfire Assault. So, this is basically a guide of sorts for people who are looking to tank the LFR, getting into tanking the LFR, and if you're familiar with my other videos, what I do is I go through the fight, I go onto icyveins.com, and I go ahead and I take a look at what the strategies are for normal mode and above, and then I let you guys know what we need to do here in terms of the fight. Now, in this first wing, I did play it the very first week. There were some wipes. I think that's been straightened out now in terms of people learning what they need to do. That was mostly the Iron Reaver, the next boss, but anyway, we'll go over this fight and specifically what a tank needs to do in LFR. So, overall, the overview of the fight is that you are fighting Siege Master Martok and Martak, rather, and you are fighting the waves of adds and the artillery that come at you. Now, you guys commandeer the two cannons that are on the walls, you turn them around and you face them at the door. You don't actually have to do this, this happens automatically. But once you've cleared everything out, those cannons are facing towards the doors to the inside of the Hellfire Citadel, and basically the idea is this is an assault on those doors. Breaking down the door to the Hellfire Citadel while waves of adds come at you. So it's mostly a big long trash fight. Martak, I recommend that the raid as a whole just DPS Martak down. She doesn't really do anything, so once she gets to half health, she buggers off, and you'll see her again inside of the Iron Reaver. She will be commanding that particular war machine, and let's get on to what tanks need to worry about here. So, specifically, tanks. As always, probably a good idea to keep the other tank on focus, and you should be performing tank switches with the other tank when those hulking berserkers there have uncomfortably high debuff stacks of slams. So once you see their health starting to drop a little bit, or the stacks of slam getting a little bit too high there, then you might want to consider a tank switch. On LFR, I don't actually think that a tank switch was needed even once. It's mostly, this fight honestly is mostly about the DPS choosing the correct targeting order. So, let's go to DPS priorities here, because this is basically what it is. For the tanks, you basically stand in front of the gate, you grab the adds as they come, as they get shot at you, as they charge down from the gates, and that's pretty much it. For the DPS, their top priority is, first off, it's Martak, so get rid of her, makes the fight go easier. Then the Fel-imbued siege weapons, because if those weapons get to your cannons, then they will very slowly break them down, and you can see here that we've got the health gauge for the gate and the health gauge for the two cannons that we control. So, siege, the Iron Horde siege weapons, the Fel Horde, whatever they're called now, they're siege weapons, siege vehicles, need to kill those. Then Gorebound Felcasters, so those guys that turn into demon form, you need to get those guys next. Then hulking berserkers, then contracted engineers, and finally Iron Dragoons. So that is the DPS priority order, and you definitely want to get those Felbound, the ones that turn into demon form. What are they called again? Gorebound Felcasters, because they will do more damage to yourself, the tank, once you are in, once they transform into demon form. So, basically just use your AoE tanking abilities here as a paladin tank. That is absolutely no problem. I also went ahead and, since I've got the skull and the X bound to my side mouse buttons here, I just went ahead and I marked targets for the DPS to try to help out a little bit. Not sure how much it helped out or not, but yeah, it is what it is. This fight is not that difficult. I'll go over the everyone section now on icyveins' guide to this particular fight very quickly. Avoid various ground-based abilities, which is Shockwave, Bombs, Siege Nova, and Belch Flame. Okay. Avoid standing in front of the Fell Iron Crushers. Okay, so those are the battering rams. When the Fell Iron Artillery casts Artillery Blast, stand at least 40 feet away from the Hellfire Cannons. Okay, so when they're firing that, they target the Hellfire Cannons, and they do a big AoE effect damage there. Okay, very good. I've been tanking them at the bottom of the ramp there, which is at least 40 yards away, and I recommend that everybody else do the same. And when Martok casts Howling Axe, stand at least 8 yards away from everyone else. Okay, pick up Fell munitions, and take it to your cannon. So that's mostly DPS and maybe the healers. Tanks, you should probably just stay at the bottom there, let the DPS do that work. And as you can see there, the fight is pretty much over here. And we will get a lovely little introduction to the next fight, which is the Iron Reaver, I believe. Let's see here. Yes, indeed, it is the Iron Reaver. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into that one. So, let's take a look. Specific overview of the fight. The encounter against the Iron Reaver is a two-phased fight. Yes, indeed, it is a two-phased fight. One phase on the ground and the other phase is in the air. And it alternates between the two. The first phase is ground operation phase. At this time, the boss is located on the ground. The boss has an energy bar that increases over time, indicating the time remaining until the phase changes. Each ground operation phase lasts for 140 seconds. The second phase is called air operation phase. During this phase, the Iron Reaver takes flight and engages your raid from the air with some new abilities. She drops a lot of bombs. Basically, that's it. During this phase, your raid must also contend with a type of ad. I think that's the bombs, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go into the summing things up section, and you will see what I had to avoid there. I believe that was targeted by the artillery. So during the ground operation phase, perform a tank switch when the Iron Reaver is targeting you with artillery, and get the hell away from everybody else. Police. That is very important. So basically, when you have your other tank on focus, pick up the boss when they when they do a thing there. It's very easy to see. As you can see, he's got the target, he's got the hunter's mark animation over top of him, and he gets to be a bigger size, and basically your job at that point is to run the hell away. And let's see. During air operation phase, help DPS players kill the violent fire bombs. So, yeah, that's what you have to deal with as the tank, quite literally. Let's see here. Let's go over what the DPS and what everyone needs to do. So she's doing her ground slam right now, which originally I thought I should probably get out of, although if your healers are competent, it actually does not seem to do that much damage. So, the DPS need to, during the ground phase, DPS the Iron Reaver. During the air phase, DPS the violet firebombs. Okay. And everyone during the ground operations, if she avoids standing in front of the Iron Reaver when she casts Barrage. So I believe that includes the tanks as well. Try to get out of it if you can, but if it gets to a case where you have to be the one who's in front of... Actually, I think that's Barrage right there. It's basically when she zooms across. No, wait, I stand corrected. That's Blitz. So get out of the way of Blitz. I did not do that there, and I actually get stuck and dragged along if you don't get out of the way of Blitz. Avoid standing in the immolation fire patches around the room. Stay out of the fire. Spread out. 8 yards minimum when unstable, minimize unstable orb damage. I think that's what actually screwed over a lot of people in the first week or so. During the air phase, move out of the range and use defensive cooldowns when targeted by artillery. So she still uses artillery in the air phase. Okay. Interesting. Avoid being struck by falling slams. So yes, that's the big circle that she has just before she lands. And avoid being hit by the firebomb's explosions by running out of the by moving out of the ground effect. Very good. Avoid being struck by falling slam and firebombs. Yes, we covered that already. And yeah, I believe, and you can see right here, there's the animation for the falling slam. So it takes a while, and once she comes back down onto the ground, you need to pick her up right away, and you can continue on the fight here. So there was a fair bit of wiping in the first week. I think people have figured it out. This one went down pretty smoothly here, and I think I might actually skip ahead a little bit, just because it seems that we're at half health, and I've explained the whole bloody thing here to you guys. So as I said, I'm just going to skip ahead a bit here, because the boss was at half health when I had told you guys literally everything I could find out about this particular fight that's relevant to tanking here, so yeah. As you can see right there, I'm knocking out of the way Barrage. However, she is nearly dead at this point. We're doing okay. It's not a super win where nobody dies. We've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people dead. So that's unfortunate, but the Iron Reaver is definitely going down here. And yeah, gonna fall any time now. And next up, we'll be on to... we move on to Kormrok. So Kormrok is a corrupted magmatar, I believe is what it's called. Basically those big cyclopseal giants that are all over Gorgon and are bigger versions of the Ron, smaller versions of those Colossus that we actually see, except for the dead one in Frostfire Ridge. So anyway, let's take a look at what this corrupted magmatar Kormrok. Oh my god, I'm so sorry guys. Kormrok. So Kormrok. So for LFR difficulty, there's a specific LFR fight. Okay, that's cute. Apparently there's a specific guide on Icy Veins for LFR difficulty. I'm going to continue looking at the normal one. So, he, according to this, on normal and higher has an enrage timer of 5 minutes 40 seconds. Overview of the fight. He's a single-phased encounter. His abilities differ upon which pools he is in. You need to perform tank switches when he uses the following abilities. SWAT, which he will use when he's near the Shadow Pool, presumably. And Foul Crush, when he is near the Green Pool. And Explosive Burst, when he is near the Fire Pool. When he is using SWAT, avoid being knocked into the pool, but also try not to get too far away, and be wary of which pools Kormrok is going to leap into. Basically, avoid the green pool, because the green pool has the most annoying abilities. I've actually not seen the abilities, but the grasping hands abilities and the dragging hands abilities definitely sound like they are very irritating abilities to deal with compared to the explosive ruins and the fell outpouring from the other two pools, respectively. So, healing cooldowns. Okay, healers need to use cooldowns when Hound is being used. Like I said before, you need to do tank switches when you use a SWAT, Fell Crush, or Explosive Burst. And let's see here. Everyone, use personal cooldowns before triggering Explosive Ruins. Push empowered explosive ruins towards a certain point by running forward into them. That definitely is not in LFR. Spread out 4 yards when Kormrok casts Pound. Avoid standing in the fell outpouring. You'll see that in a little bit here where he jumps into the purple pool. Here he goes. And yeah, avoid the fell outpouring and empowered fell outpouring. As far as I'm aware, on LFR we just have to deal with fell outpouring, which it's just basically waves of purple slop that you gotta avoid standing in. And move at least 40 yards away from the tank that is affected by Explosive Burst. So, yeah, try to avoid that. And this is the fell outpouring right here, so just avoid standing in that crap as much as possible. And let's see here. He will go to the nearest pool. Typically on LFR mode, you can get him to just use the shadow pool and the fire pool, and normally he will, you can just get him to go in between the two of them. You can get him down fast enough that you don't have to worry about it. He does go every 2 minutes to another pool. Yeah, I've never seen him actually pop into the green pool, unless someone decides to tank near it. That pretty much covers it here. Definitely a more interesting fight than the first one there. Anything's more interesting than the first fight here. I've been up into Wing 3, where you actually face Tyrant Velhari. That's a really interesting fight. So is the first fight of the next wing, which is literally next up, the Hellfire Council, I believe it's called. That fight's pretty interesting. So is Kilrog, and Gorfine's a lot of fun too. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up. I'm sorry that this particular wing, at least in my opinion, is a bit of a bust. Could just be my opinion, though. I mean, the Iron Reaver, I suppose, and Kormrok right here is pretty good. Not technically all that challenging, at least for the tank, as far as the tanks are concerned. There's definitely a lot more opportunities for failure in Wings 2 and Wings 3. And I've already played through those. I just finished Wing 3 for the first time today, and that video will be forthcoming, hopefully within the next week or so. Knowing the way I am with these videos, it could be within the next 2 to 3 weeks, though. Hopefully not. I'm trying to get caught up, guys. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys next time with Wing 2. I believe it's called the Halls of Blood. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you want to know when my videos come online, follow me on Twitter at @YBotPowered. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you next time.